Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining today's eClaims webinar. We ask you to please keep your phone lines muted as we will be using the chat feature to receive your questions today. Please enter your questions throughout the presentation in the chat box located on the right side of your screen. Use the drop-down to send your questions to the panelists. You can also hover over the WebEx tab at the top of your screen and click on Chat. We will answer as many of your questions as we can, but if you have questions that we don't get to today or think of something after the session ends, we will be providing you with resources at the end of the presentation. Today we will be covering 3.1 news and 3.1 changelog updates. We will also take questions at the end of the webinar. I'm now going to go ahead and pass the presentation over to Michael Hunter, and he will review eClaims recent news since the October webinar.
Thank you, Patty. One of the big news pieces we have this month is for those that already received WCB notifications, you would have received notifications. We've formally announced that our Business Information System, BIS, is now called Onboard. The Claims EDI R3.1, the release 3.1 upgrade, is a part of that Onboard project, as well as the PAR system, the prior authorization system, that was also announced around the same time. You can find additional information about Onboard on our website. For those familiar with clicking that eClaims icon, just a few below that, there is an icon on our website for Onboard, so you can click that and get directly to our Onboard news page. For Claims EDI Release 3.1 news, we wanted to announce this month that additional time, as noted in October, is still required to accurately implement Claims EDI 3.1. The boards decided to postpone that original implementation date from March 15th until October 2021 at the earliest. For those that were at our October 2020 webinar, you'll remember we had mentioned July. It is now October 2021 at the earliest. This extension will allow us to perform that accurate and successful implementation of Release 3.1 while giving everyone additional time so trading partners can complete their preparations for that transition and get your systems programmed and any of your clients for the vendors out there also aligned for Release 3.1. When we have that new go-live date, we will communicate that to everyone. And if anyone has questions in the meantime, they are always welcome to email the eClaims 31 email. A few other updates that have happened since October. We modified the chart for the DNs triggered on O2. One of those changes is we removed DN38 as deletions on this data element are actually not allowed. We did note that on our eClaims changelog under number 27. The only other change to the document is you'll notice it's been reformatted and branded with our logos. The summary of EDI changes from Release 3 to Release 3.1, that has been updated and posted on the New York requirements table page. Those changes include the element requirement and edit matrix changes as stated in the eClaims changelog from back on September 15th, 2020. And we also reformatted this one as well to assist folks, and you'll also notice in addition to some of that reformatting, the branding on there as well. And the last one that we updated was the sequencing flow document. We had this in Release 3, and we're going to also keep it in Release 3.1. We did have it posted out there but we have updated it and just reformatted it. We also posted our October 2020 webinar slide deck as well as the video recording. They are available under eClaims presentations. The October agenda had included the Release 3.1 news as well as our update and topics of the month. For December, we're going to go over mostly the changelog changes we just released last week. We wanted to get those posted so folks had time to modify their systems and make those necessary changes in preparation for Release 3.1. The first changelog was changelog number 62, and that was for the event table for periodics. And also under the periodic tab for SA. We just added additional notes to clarify report trigger values. One of those clarifications was under scenario 1, controverted cases or accepted claims where there was no medical or indemnity paid. So maybe a notification only or one where you accepted but haven't paid anything out yet. They do not require a filing until something's paid. It was one of the questions we've received over the last few months. The other one, number 2, the initial summary report under scenario 2, reporting on the initial reopened cases has been decided that that will be voluntary at the initial implementation of Release 3.1. If it becomes mandatory, we would obviously communicate to everyone and give you ample time to prepare for that mandate. This corresponds to changelog 63. It was a modification of the FOIA element requirement table for DN 0005 jurisdiction claim number. We changed the 402 reportable change code for the update from N to K. What that means is it was changed from no change allowed. It now allows you to change it on the FOI. And the business need behind this was the change was made in the event that the jurisdiction claim number is now incorrect on a previous transaction and a trading partner has to update that JCN. This corresponds to changelog number 64. On the FOI element requirement table, again, a change for DN 0005 jurisdiction claim number. There was just a clerical error that we found and we were correcting. We just changed the 402 reportable change code from MC to the little m since there is no conditional requirements for jurisdiction claim number. This will correspond to changelog number 65. And this was a modification to the Troy element requirement table, as well as the Troy conditional requirement table for DN 83, permanent impairment body part code, and DN 84, permanent impairment percentage. We changed the code for modified that table for Troy ER, the employer reinstatement. For DN 83 and DN 84, it was changed from AR to MC, mandatory conditional. The business need behind this is we changed AR to MC to match the condition for other Troy MTCs. Those included, but they're not limited to the AP, CA, CB, IP, PYRB, UR, as well as a few other MTCs. This change was made at the request of claim administrators. They had asked for that because we had the MC condition on all of the other MTCs already, but not the ER, and they requested it be consistent with that. And this corresponds to Changelog 66. This is for the Shroy element requirements and the Shroy 02 exceptions for DN 197, denial reason narrative, and DN 198, full denial reason code. We changed the code and we modified the Shroy 02 reportable change code for delete from N to JG. That would go from no change allowed to change allowed on the Shroy to allow a delete only on the Shroy 02 if either DN 75 agreement to compensate changes from without liability to with liability for cases with dates of accident on or after January 1st, 2019, or DN 196 denial rescission date is being added for cases with dates of accident prior to 1/1/2019, and there's been no benefit segments accepted to date. The business need behind this is to support acceptance after denial, and you can find further information on our website under FAQ number 13 for release 3.1 FAQs. Again, that's FAQ number 13. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Patty to cover the remainder of the changelog changes.
Thank you, Mike. The first changelog item I'm going to cover is item 67. This was a change to element requirements table for DN 0192. There's a new relaxed edit for this DN number, benefit payment issue date. DN 0192 is not required when reduced benefit amount code Z for net to zero. This was changed in accordance with Section 4 of the 2020 IAIABC 3.1 Implementation Guide. Changelog item number 68 was for a relaxed population restriction for part of body injured code to allow trading partners to submit multiple left or multiple right fingers or toes in the event that there are multiple injuries on the same hand or foot. The next population restriction corresponds with item 69 on our changelog. This is a new population restriction for part of body injured code. Body parts must be properly identified for any claims that don't have a claim type code of notification only. Otherwise, it is not clear how a claim was accepted when the body part wasn't properly identified. Item 71 on our changelog refers to a population restriction clerical error on our edit matrix. This error, this corrects the edit matrix population restriction to include a still active population restriction for a date employer had knowledge of injury. Number 72 on the changelog, we had a clerical error, so this corrects the edit matrix population restrictions to include a still active population restriction. We corrected it to read that it applies to dates of accident on or after 1/1/19 instead of applying to all dates of accident. Item 73, this is for population restriction 0126-064. We relaxed this one in accordance with Section 4 of the 2020 IABC 3.1 Implementation Guide. ACR is not required if a reduced earnings segment is being sent on net to zero. Item 74, this is a new population restriction and was changed in accordance with Section 4 of the 2020 IABC 3.1 Implementation Guide. If reduced benefit amount code is being sent is net to zero, then number of ACRs or number of reduced earnings must also be sent. Item 75 on the changelog is a new population restriction that we added in accordance with Section 4 again. If reduced benefit amount code is being sent as net to zero, then number of ACR or number of reduced earnings must be sent. Changelog item number 76, we removed the AQ from 2 population restrictions, part of body injured location code and part of body injured fingers, toes location code. Both of these should be included on the AQ when a pertinent part of body injured code is sent. Number 77 is a clerical error on the edit matrix for the SHROI sequencing. We came across this clerical error. This corrects the SHROI sequencing as the previous error message text was over 50 characters and the limit is 50, so we've corrected that issue. We will continue to hold bi-monthly eClaims Trading Partner webinars. The next one will be held on February 16th at 2 o'clock. Before we conclude today's presentation, I want to make sure you are aware of the methods to stay informed on eClaims news and upcoming engagement opportunities. You can visit the eClaims website at wcb.ny.gov to stay up to date on eClaims news. You can also sign up to receive news straight to your inbox. This is how we will be communicating future engagement opportunities throughout the course of the BIS project. Visit the eClaims site and select WCB notifications within the eClaims overview section. Questions, comments, and feedback on the eClaims EDI R3.1 upgrade can be emailed to eclaims31@wcb.ny.gov. Questions regarding existing eClaims EDI 3.0 should continue to be sent to the eClaims mailbox. You can also follow the board on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. A recording of this webinar is going to be placed on our YouTube and eClaims website, as well as FAQs spawned from the questions being asked during this webinar series. So keep an eye out for these resources, as well as a follow-up email and survey. We thank you for joining us today for the eClaims Trading Partner webinar.